Hi, this is Peggy with Natural Awakening Chicago Magazine. Welcome back to Women in Wellness. This is a video series that we've been doing throughout the entire month, where we're speaking with very prominent women in wellness and health-related businesses in the Chicago area, particularly how they are helping women with their own health and wellness. And today I'm pleased to welcome Susan Curry. Susan is the creator and facilitator of InteriorWerx, a unique wellness modality that focuses on releasing various physical pains and emotional distress. So welcome, Susan.
Hi, Peggy. It's so good to be back with you again, and I appreciate this time to share my modality and reach more people and put peace on the planet. Everybody happy and healthy, right?
That would be a good thing. Yes. So Susan, I want to ask you about that really intriguing design behind you, because I know this kind of ties into some of the work you do. So we were talking a little bit about it before we started recording, but would love to hear some more about it.
Yeah, so it's the yin and yang, the lightness and darkness, and the balance between the two, and see how they are equally balanced, having that lightness and darkness, just like the day has the lightness and the darkness. And I guess the work that I do brings out what people might term as darkness and changes the frequency of it so it may appear more light. For example, if you're out in a twilight evening, you honor the darkness and you feel good about it, and it's, and you get to see the stars come twinkling out. So there's some wonderful, fabulous qualities, as opposed to being afraid of the dark and, the boogeyman's going to get you or whatever. So I do emotional work, releasing of emotional work tied to anything that people may consider darkness, allowing that to be lighter and therefore facilitate health and happiness in their body temple.
So when you're doing your energy work, are you looking more at emotional, physical, a combination of both?
So I'm targeting the emotional kernel that started this in the first place. So the emotional kernel that began whatever thing in the body that's making you feel uncomfortable, I scan the body, figure out where it is in the physical body, and then where it originated in the story of the person. And so it's kind of a mixture of Sigmund Freud meets quantum physics.
Yeah.
It's where, I'm dissecting and pulling out. And that's why what I've found successful from clients is that, if you go to a normal talk therapy, you have to talk, again and again and again about the issue until it kind of mutates it or makes it more less pingy, I guess I'll call it, or less, like if you talk about something over and over, it kind of makes it like, well, okay, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. But the work that I do, I go at the original root that brought it and then allow the person to release that. I help facilitate the release, and it's not, it's painful. Tears come down and, but it's like pulling a sliver out. Are you going to just leave the sliver there and let it stay and simmer to become something that erupts later? Or are you going to pull the sliver out, and have a little bit of pus and stuff come flying, so that's the kind of the
image for this afternoon.
It's lovely, but I mean, we get the job done, right? I mean, we get it nice. We get the
done and the relief comes.
Nice and clean. Yeah. And it can be fast and fabulous. And you can have one session can do it or 20, depending on what we're working on, if it's a deep rooted thing. But it's such, I mean, I began this because I was always questioning the why. Like if you have an issue, you have a physical body that comes on the planet super healthy. I mean, I'm just talking about the 80% of the people that come on the planet that are, they're aligned in health. And then for some reason, the body gets something. Well, why? Well, what, you know what I mean? I was always that young person that was like, well, why? Why did that person get it and this other person didn't? What's the difference between their, so they say, oh, it's environmental. Well, yeah. Oh, it's what they eat. Well, yeah. But there's still something deeper that causes it, because you could have people that are super, in a beautiful environment and eat beautifully, but still get an issue that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So my curiosity led me to just keep asking why, to design this modality and test and research it.
Yeah.
And it works.
Now, if we go back in your history, you were actually a major in interior design and minored in psychology and some religious studies. How did you get from that point to developing your own wellness modality? What was the pivotal change for you?
The pivotal change. So I was working, I can see it. I can see this one scene in my life. I was 24. I was working at the most prestigious design firm in Chicago, Watson and Bowler. I was the apprentice of these fabulous designers. And I was at a client's and we were talking about a paint color. And the husband and wife were having this fight like you would never believe about the paint color. And I was 24 and I was watching them and I was like, it's not about the paint. It is totally not about the paint. It's deeper. And I was like, I left there. I was like, it is not, it has nothing to do with the paint. And so I went back to my office. I'm like, they have this deep rooted something that needs to be resolved, but it has nothing to do with whether it's a green room or a yellow room.
Yeah.
I said, and no matter what color I choose for them, it's not going to be satisfactory. So I said, we shouldn't paint. And my bosses were like, well, they hired us to paint the room. I said, well, maybe give it a week, because they're still in this quandary of, I said, why don't we just postpone it a week or two and let them simmer down? There's something that's deeper than just talking about that. And so that kind of sparked my curiosity. Like, you can do these beautiful environments and fabulous things, and the people still have this underlying, anger or resentment or sorrow or whatever. And I was seeing that over and over and over in lives that you would be like, oh my God, you live in the most beautiful house, you have the most beautiful things, everything runs nicely, you have people that take care of you, and I kept like, well, what is deeper? And so I started to kind of side psychology people, like one client, I said, you really should go on a holiday where nobody knows you, and just kind of, and the woman did. She actually went, I said, you should pretend you're someone else, and you should just, and she did exactly what I told her. And I was starting to see results. And so I've always been interested in, making the spirit feel better, making the, the human experience better. I've always been interested in that, whether it's with nutrition or whether it's with your thoughts or whether, so that has always been my quest. Like, well, what can just flip the switch for them?
Yeah.
And so then I just started digging deeper.
You also told me a story when we had the photo shoot for the Women in Wellness section about working with a forensic psychiatrist or psychiatrist in the Chicago area that kind of changed your life as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was super instrumental. I told him about my theory. We met and I told him about my theory. And he said, that's super interesting. I said, and I need more people that have more issues. I'm not meeting these people on the street, thank goodness, that have deep issues. So, maybe I could, he said, why don't you come in, under my wing and, and I'll always be with you, because I don't have there's no stamp behind my name, which, okay. He said, come in and let's see what, how this could work.
Mhm.
And so that was such an eye-opener, because I was at that point, I had a flourishing interior design company, my own Susan Style, which I still do. And I was raising two amazing children. So, I didn't really need this other thing, and so I was toying with it going, like, okay, well, it's kind of cool, but what, just lay it down, Sue, because it's so bizarre. Like, oh yeah, you can figure things out and you can make it, make people's lives change so quickly. Oh yeah, sure. I was kind of going back and forth with myself, but then he said, come on in, to my office. Let's give it, 12 months and just, see what you can do, what we can do together. Which I was like, okay, so I fit it into my schedule and went. And what I was finding, I've always I was born an empath. So an empath can read people. Um, I've always been like the young person who would shake someone's hand and be like, oh, so you really love cooking, don't you? And, I would meet them at a business meeting and they'd be like, well, yeah, I was a professional chef. I said, I know, I can feel it. You love cooking. Like, what do you mean you can feel it? Well, I get these downloads of information about people, about what they love. I also get downloads about things that are not so comfortable in their bodies. So it's again, it's the yin and the yang. I get the both, I get both. So, as a young adult, I was kind of just skirting around things, because I was getting a lot of deep data about people, like so and so just is going to, having an affair, or so and so is doing that. I was getting a lot of information. So I kind of make a joke about a lot of things and just, kind of.
Wow.
But then I thought, well, this is a gift too. So when I went into the forensic psychiatrist's office, I shook hands with his patients, and then I would get the download of the incident of what was causing their trauma. And all these people that were coming to him were really deeply traumatized, So I would I would shake their hand, and then I'd go into his office and I would download, and I would tell him the story. So-and-so had an incident at the park with an uncle, da, 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 da. It looked like this. And then he would take that data and do the regular modality, but he'd be like 3 years ahead of it, because it takes that long for people to open up and share the story when they're so traumatized. So I was helping him skip ahead, shall we say. And then he still used his modality,
Right.
to do okay. And then one day he said, you know what? I've got this guy in jail. He's accused of murder. And let's see if you can read him. Let's see what you find out about him. He said, but I can't take you to the jail, because I can't say, oh, this, this friend of mine's coming, I said, that's okay. I can do it through you. If you think about him, I'll put my hand on your shoulder, and then I'll get the data, because you've spent time with him. So I can pull the energy, and you're his physician. So I have permission, I believe in that, spiritually and ethically. So I received the download, saw he did actually do commit the crime. But more importantly, I found the original root that caused him to explode in anger.
Okay.
And then I was able to wrap it. I call it wrapping it in white light, that and eradicate it, pull it out of his body. The doctor went to the jail. I said, now go there and bring him some apple cider vinegar and have him drink it. I said, and he's going to have a full reconciliation and confession. And because I've pulled that molecule, that rage molecule, out of his system now. So now because everybody wants to do the right thing. They really do. That's my firm belief, that everybody really does want to, they know how to bob up in the water and be in the right place. But there's a molecule that gets in the way, like a rage molecule, that will explode and cause this issue. So we did this. He made a full confession, tears rolling down his face. And that's when I was like, oh, Sue, you got to do this. And you got to do this for as many people as possible, because now that's peace on the planet. I want peace on the planet. That's peace on the planet. To reconcile a soul that did something to someone he loved because a rage molecule exploded and he just acted out in that, and to pull that and reconcile that, release it. And that's spiritually speaking, right? We take it and release it because we are all of God and love. And that person, all he wanted to do was make it right. Now, he couldn't bring the person back to life, obviously, but he was like, how do I make it right? How do I make amends? How do I do the right thing from now on? How do I help other people never do this? Da, da, da. That's all he wanted to do from that point forward. So that's when I was like, okay, you got to do this.
Yeah.
This is big.
So taking energy work then in the larger sphere of, helping to find the root cause, a non-invasive solution, perhaps,
Yeah.
to emotional and physical discomfort. Um, how can women benefit from that? What,
Well,
especially in the world
think
right now?
about women in general. I mean, especially mothers.
Mhm.
We're constantly thinking of the child, what their needs are they sleeping, are they eating, all of that over and over and over and over and over, and we take ourselves out of the equation.
Mhm.
So many mothers go, full board, which totally understand, but if we could align them and release their maybe thoughts of having to, there's a lot of misconceptions. You've got to be the super mom. You've got to have a career too. You've got to be an amazing wife, all these things, these hats.
Mhm.
But imagine if you're just more free flowing and like, today I'm going to do nothing but be on my own side and just and take care of me. Or imagine a day where I take care of me first. Okay. And now I'm ready for the children or the husband or the job. So I like to, especially with women that have multiple things going on, whether it's a career or, I like to free them of just that accumulation of, oh, I should have done that, or I got to do that, or, all those emotional like packages that we carry, you know.
The
Um,
social expectations.
exactly, exactly. So that's one of the best things. And also, like things that people can't figure out. So I had a client come to me and she had a pain. She was in her 70s. She had a pain in her pelvic in the female area, right? And doctors kept saying, well, you're nuts. There's nothing there. We've x-rayed, we've done this, we've done that. There's nothing there. Just, it's in your head. Okay. So she came to me. I put my finger right on it. She's like, ow. I'm like, yep, I got it. We're going to release it. And it was the frequency of the surgeon that removed her IUD 30 years ago.
Hmm.
The rage molecule, because he got angry because he couldn't get it out. So he was angry. That anger molecule sat in her system and caused the pain. So I cleared that the next day. I said 24 hours, give it 24 hours, check it out, poke around, see if it's gone, done, gone, released. So it's things like that people are having issues trying to figure out, that they know, because, well, and especially women are so open to feeling what is going on or what's not going on right. We can feel this, is my body feeling good today? And then if the answer is, well, I'm at 80%, well, if you want to be at 100%, then let's do a scan and let's figure out what that 20% is and let's get it up and running at 100.
So
So
do you work with people remotely, in person, combination?
both. Yeah, both. I have an office in Park Ridge that I see clients in person on Fridays.
Mhm.
And then I do over the phone remotely as well. Yeah. And right now I'm in the Chicagoland,
Yeah.
in Chicago
Mhm.
for the summer for sure. And through probably maybe through September.
And then it's remote here. Yeah.
And then, then I'll go remote once I set up my things in Arizona.
So what's next for you and for InteriorWerx?
Well, that's what's next. I'm putting together a health ranch in the mountains outside of Scottsdale. So it's about 3 hours from the Phoenix airport. And it will be a wellness retreat space where people can actually, more like a timeshare. So I'm going to sell 40-day modules and people can sign up for a yearly, 40-day, or they can be there for 6 months or whatever amount of time. And we'll do all, scan them, figure out their program, what they need, and put them on the schedule.
Mhm.
And everything will be right there for them. And it's on an acreage, an 80-acre parcel with nothing but animals around us. Yeah. So
Wow.
it'll be and it's a sacred area, not, it's surrounded by 2 forests. Yeah.
Can't wait to hear more about that as this develops. Well, one other quick question before we go, other than your contact information. So as we are moving forward through transitional phases of the pandemic, and social schedules may be changing, work schedules, family dynamics, everything else is now kind of in a new but not concrete dynamic. What's one piece of advice for women and their health right now?
Keep that, there was a sacredness about this cycle of time. I call it the health reorganization. Health and happiness reorganization is what I've nicknamed the pandemic, because there has been this sacredness about not being busy, about not running to the store in your car, about being more mindful about how many trips you go and where you go and who you're with. This is it's really, really good. So it's taking that, again, that darkness, the light from the darkness, right? And moving forward in what you do now, make it mindful still, make your interactions with people more intentional. Even the whole like standing back from someone, the 6-foot thing, right? It gives you that opportunity to really behold them from head to toe, right? And as opposed to being on top of them and right? Okay. Isn't that interesting? We get to, so it's like taking those, we'll just call them little rules and regulations, and flowing them into the new unfolding of people feeling more comfortable being in social situations. I mean, I was personally totally comfortable the whole time. I still did my thing. I still traveled. I still, I lived my life. I didn't really alter my experience. But there are a lot of people that did and feel now more comfortable to come out and be, part of interactions again. But again, ladies, take it with you that it's just a mindful experience, that it's a sacred experience, that it's a healthy, happy, whole human experience. Yeah.
So Susan, if people want to reach out to you, make an appointment, or find out more about what you do, what's the best way to connect with you?
The website. My website has a fantastic scheduler, and you can just pop in and choose your time and date. You'll go to InteriorWerx, and Works is spelled WERX, and that stands for Energy Release Experience. And it's a .us,
So
not a .com. It's US.
Interior
Yeah.
Works with an E.us.
InteriorWerx.us.
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Susan. I really enjoyed speaking with you again today. I wish you much success as you start working more on your project out in Arizona, but enjoy the summer while you're still here in Chicago.
Yes. Thank you, Peggy. And I always appreciate you. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity to connect with people and help them with their projects, with their healthy, happy projects. Okay. Thank you. Lots of love.